Danny Duncan is one of the highest earning YouTubers in the game right now. Specializing in vlogs and pranks, Danny outperforms most creators in his respective space by leveraging his online media presence to springboard multiple business ventures. And with over 6 million subscribers, Danny shows no signs of slowing down. Now there's a lot of speculation online with regards to how much Danny Duncan actually makes, and I think there's a lot of misinformation. But before we can truly assess the earnings potential of his business model, we need to understand the frameworks that Danny uses that makes his company so successful. By encompassing a thorough understanding of market psychology and leveraging different principles of marketing, Danny has strategically positioned his company well ahead of his competition, and he has built a brand behemoth. We're talking about a brand that outperforms some of the biggest companies in retail. So in this video, we're gonna go over what those strategies are and how much he makes. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sam. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and joining the team. And as always guys, please don't forget to like the video for the YouTube algorithm and hit the notification bell so you're alerted the second I drop a new video. Did you like the video yet? Come on, like the video.
Don't be stupid, bro. Come on.
Now, Danny Duncan, aka Gary Winthrop, started his YouTube career in March of 2014. Originally posting skateboarding videos and how to treat skateboarding-induced injuries, it was during this time that Danny was training and working with actor and skateboarder Jason Lee. Now, Jason Lee quickly took note of Danny's talent and his sense of humor, and when Danny expressed an interest to pursue acting, that's what prompted Jason Lee to tell him to pursue Instagram and YouTube more seriously and develop an audience. The logic here was that if Danny had an audience on YouTube, he could then leverage that into different auditions and potentially different acting roles. So it was here that Danny made the transition from filming skateboarding videos exclusively to also filming vlogs and pranks, showcasing his sense of humor and lifestyle. Now Danny's channel began to take off, with his most viewed video to date being his Falling with 30,000 Pennies video, which has over 30 million views. Now the first source of revenue is Danny's AdSense.
We could be like those other YouTubers who just put a bunch of content together and sell it.
AdSense, or ad revenue, can play a significant or very insignificant role in how much a creator actually earns. Now, various sources claim different estimates that Danny Duncan actually generates off of AdSense, and I sincerely mean this with the utmost respect. But I don't know what some of these sources are smoking. One source claims that just off of ad revenue, he makes between $7,000 and $111,000 per month. Another claims he makes roughly $700 per day. Oh, this last one is my favorite. This source claims he makes $2,000 daily, which means he makes $29,800 per month. Okay, so $2,000 a day. The shortest month of the year is February, 28. 28 times 2. He makes $29,800 per month. Now, to be fair, and to these publications' credit, they are basing these estimates based off of pre-existing metrics that are sourced from other reputable sources. Now, there are so many different elements that account for how much a creator can actually earn from AdSense, so I'm not gonna go through all of them, but basically, Danny Duncan's videos are considered not advertiser friendly, for the most part. They're not exactly demonetized. However, Danny and other subjects in his videos regularly swear and use vulgar language.
I'm gonna tell the county to suck my
Make very suggestive references.
I love this thing, man. I always wanted a dildo drone. You guys want to stand above it? We can shove it up your ass.
Sometimes show violence, as well as incorporate copyrighted music, to name just a few. All of these elements can severely diminish the AdSense earnings potential of a creator.
I didn't even make money off the video, to be honest. People with the songs made the money.
The other thing to realize is a lot of times creators in the entertainment space, predominantly pranks and vlogs, often have their earnings so severely diminished that they just start to incorporate copyrighted music, because at that point it just becomes a matter of who cares. If you were earning 50 cents per thousand views and now you're gonna drop down to 30 cents per thousand views, you don't really care, especially when the majority of your actual earnings come from your merch line, Virginity Rocks. Virginity Rocks is a brand behemoth that outperforms some of the biggest companies in retail. So how does a kid who just films pranks and vlogs go on to build a brand that is more or less a money printing machine? What are the strategies that were used that made this brand so successful? Well, first, the brand is very tongue-in-cheek, so it's really funny and amusing to people who have an active nightlife.
Andy, it's going down, partner. We gonna be
Now, this is what separates a successful brand that can continuously grow versus a brand that quickly gets forgotten and dies out. And that is the fundamental understanding of market psychology. One of the basic principles that people often forget is that we as humans, although can be logical and rational, are often emotionally driven. Our behavior is heavily influenced by our emotions. If you can manipulate someone's emotions, you can influence their behavior. I did a much more detailed breakdown on the merits of actually using emotions within your marketing campaigns in a video about the cringy girl who acts like a dog on OnlyFans. She acts like a dog, it's incredibly cringy, and she made over $1 million over the span of a year. She recently appeared on the No Jumper podcast to actually talk about her story, and it was here that I actually noticed that she actually has a sound understanding of how people think, and she demonstrated her business savvy. I highly recommend you guys check that out. The CPM on that video is absolute booty cheeks anyway, so I don't stand to make anything but give you guys a better understanding of how emotions work in the marketplace.
You don't need 50 million people to love you. You need 5 million people pissed. Emotion sells. Anger sells.
Now, when you couple the fact that people are emotionally driven with being social beings, anyways, emotions in the marketplace is extremely effective. If you can scare someone, if you can make someone laugh, if you can make someone cry, if you can make someone angry, all of these elements are extremely effective in influencing your audience's behavior, specifically conversion rates. For example, laughter. Laughter is an extremely powerful emotion. Whenever you laugh, your brain is releasing a significant amount of endorphins and dopamine. These are the chemicals in the brain that are responsible for feeling good. So if you can incorporate humor within your marketing campaigns and strategically embed it within your brand, you are subconsciously, psychologically influencing your audience to associate these feel-good feelings with your brand. And who doesn't want to feel good? Much like Danny's personal brand, his merch line heavily uses humor. Fet's Luck, Tice Knits, Virginity Rocks, I Eat Ass, Eat More Ass. I can't even say this last one or this video might get demonetized. Fet's Luck or Tice Knits is funny. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It might not make everyone laugh, but if someone is wearing Tice Knits, it might entice other people to kind of see the shirt and go, dude, where did you get that shirt? Which could then prompt them to start talking about Danny Duncan. By encompassing humor in your brand, you're not only influencing your audience to purchase, but you're also indirectly outsourcing the labor of mass advertising to the market itself. Another strong element is shock value. When something utilizes shock value, it often commands people's attention. It isn't something that people would nonchalantly just pass by and ignore. Drawing and commanding people's attention is absolutely paramount to conversion rates, meaning getting people to actually make a purchase. There's so many people producing clothing, so many people producing so many different variations of the very same product. So how do you get people to pay attention to yours? Shock value is a strong one. In addition to that, Danny painfully obviously leverages the most age-old marketing secret that's not really a secret anymore, and that is that sells. This deserves an entire video to it on its own. It's way too broad of a subject for me to cover within the scope of just this video, but sells. Okay, just take my word for it.
Okay.
Now, the final pillar that works in conjunction with the whole tongue-in-cheek viewpoint of the Virginity Rocks merchandise is that it's also actually a positive message that others could be encouraged to sport. Whether kids feel external societal pressures to achieve personal milestones,
It's in. Oh my God, it's in.
or whether kids want to champion abstinence.
I once went 28 years without having sex.
Virginity Rocks is a powerful and positive message that many can get behind. However, wearing Virginity Rocks also draws a lot of attention and thus controversy. Again, guys, I go over the merits of controversy within the marketplace in that video. I'll leave a link to it somewhere over here. I highly recommend you guys check that out. Controversy is a brilliant marketing strategy. It gets people talking, getting trending on Twitter, making news headlines, having media coverage.
One local school is standing firm on their decision to suspend a student that was wearing a sweatshirt that reads Virginity Rocks.
Right now at 11 on News4Jax, controversy surrounding a t-shirt worn by a Clay County high school student.
The St. Charles County School District is taking issue with a student's sweatshirt.
It centers on the two words that are printed across the front of it, and the teen says they're taking it the wrong way.
A Chautauqua teen says he was suspended from school for wearing a sweatshirt reading Virginity Rocks.
I actually want to show you this sweatshirt he was wearing. So this is exactly what it said on it, Virginity Rocks.
Having people argue in favor of it, having people argue against it.
The t-shirt reads Virginity Rocks, and senior Bryce Pierce Bridges was told it was not appropriate for school and to take it off.
I think this is absurd. I really do.
London's dad, Todd.
It's a message. It's not like it's profanity.
Forcing my son to turn something that he believes in inside out is is wrong.
Bridges' father says he was upset when the school told him why they felt the shirt was inappropriate.
And that's the beauty of the controversial nature of it. It gets a lot of people talking. Some say it's a good thing. Some say it's a demeaning message. People have different polarizing views on it. And when people talk about Virginity Rocks, it all ends up leading down to Danny Duncan.
The phrase was made popular by YouTube star Danny Duncan.
Davis got the idea from this guy, Danny Duncan.
Not to mention that Virginity Rocks was something that the church was championing. Not to mention that Virginity Rocks was something that the churches were heavily endorsing. So to put all this further into context, Zumiez, a global retailer, actually decided to partner with Danny Duncan's Virginity Rocks merch line and carry his merchandise across 600 stores. It was here that Danny Duncan's merch line was supposedly outperforming and was better selling than some of the other biggest brands in the company, like Nike, Adidas, Vans, to name a few. Mr. Duncan said Zumiez had told him that it has sold more than 400,000 pieces of merchandise. It started as more of a joke, but now it's an actual brand where we're outselling Thrasher, Nike, Adidas, and all these brands in Zumiez, and we're like, what the hell?
Pay me my money.
Alright, so we covered some of the strategies that Danny uses. Now, what kind of earnings do these strategies actually generate? A significant amount of Danny Duncan's merch sales come from his website, DannyDuncan69.com. So I decided to look at some of the website's analytics in order to drive some key insights. I used SimilarWeb in order to see the kind of traffic his website generates. And so we can see for the month of July 2021, the total number of visits was roughly 200,290. The average visit duration was about 3 minutes and 44 seconds. The pages per visit was 5.66, and the bounce rate was 32.97%. Now, bounce rate means the percentage of people who immediately click away and navigate away from the website after viewing only one page. For Danny Duncan 69, that means that the second they land on the landing homepage, they immediately click off and don't actually convert into a sale. This means that 67.03% of the total number of visits actually went on to continue browsing the catalog and potentially converting into a sale. Now, despite 32.97% of the people clicking off immediately after visiting his website, the average number of pages per visit was 5.66. That means that the remaining 67.03% of people who continuously browsed the catalog was continuously shopping and converting. Now, generally speaking, for an online store, a standard conversion rate is between 0.5 and 2%. Anything between 2 to 4% is good, and then north of 4 to 5% is really good. Amazon, for example, has a conversion rate of roughly 10 to 15%. And the reason being is that when people visit Amazon, they already have a preconceived notion of what they're gonna buy. They're just shopping around and looking for the right one. Conversion rates for Amazon Prime members is actually north of 50%, which is insane. DannyDuncan69.com is a very, very specific website. On SimilarWeb, we can actually see that his traffic that comes from his search is all organic. There are no paid keywords. Danny Duncan, Danny Duncan 69, Virginity Rocks, Virginity Rocks shirt, Danny Duncan 69. What this means is that when people are visiting Danny Duncan's website, they are making a conscious effort in order to actually browse the catalog and see what the website is about. Considering that we've already accounted for the 32.97% of people who immediately clicked away after visiting just the landing page,
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
off of the 67.03% of visits, it would be fair to say that a very large percentage of those people actually went on to make a purchase, especially considering that the average number of pages per visit was 5.66. For example, if we go on the website, the landing page is one page. Clicking on a product, that's the second page. Add to cart is the third page. Checkout is the fourth page. And then entering your information and proceeding forward with the actual purchase would be another page. The point is, 5.66 pages doesn't mean that people are just endlessly browsing the catalog. This is heavily alluding to people actually converting, as well as people just extensively browsing the catalog. Now, I don't want to get way too granular, but total visits is not equal to unique visitors. Meaning, if one person visited DannyDuncan69.com 5 times, that would be 5 total visits, but only 1 unique visitor. We don't have the data to actually show how many unique visitors there are. So the total number of visits could very well be the same person visiting 10 times. However, that being said, people who are navigating towards DannyDuncan69.com are moving with intent. They are looking to make a purchase. After making a purchase, there's very little incentive for them to continuously revisit the catalog. More often than not, they will pick out everything they want and then move on from there. Still, we want to be a little bit conservative with our valuations, but at the same time pay a little bit of respect to the marketplace.
So
Now, I meticulously went through every single item on his website and input the price into a spreadsheet in order to derive the average value. Guys, hit the like button just for that alone. But I found that the average price per item on his website is roughly $36. Assuming 40% of the visits actually went on to make a purchase and they only purchased one item, that would mean that 40% of 200,290, which is 80,116, multiplied by 36 is over 2.88 million. $2,884,000 per month. Now again, this is gross revenue, not profit margin. And this is only for the month of July. Remember, Danny Duncan's subscriber count is continuously growing. His audience is continuously growing. His brand is continuously growing. Another thing to note is that Danny Duncan is making this just off of his website. Now the actual production and fulfillment of all of Danny's merchandise is actually done by the Killer Merch Company. We don't have the actual percentage information of how much they take, but there was some information online regarding Shane Dawson's deal with Killer Merch, and it was something to the tune of Shane Dawson keeping 70% of all the profits and Killer Merch keeping 30%. Considering that Danny Duncan is a very large influencer, it'd be fair to assess that he would also broker a similar type of deal. Now, how much does Danny make off of the merchandise sold from Zoomies? Well, as per usual business practices, Zoomies and Danny Duncan probably have an NDA, so there isn't much information about that, and there won't be much information about that because that is heavily guarded. However, after doing some digging, Danny Duncan himself, without actually going into specifics, mentions that Zoomies buys wholesale from him. So although Danny Duncan isn't making as high of a profit margin as he would be on his own website, he is still making a profit off of wholesaling to Zoomies. Now, Danny Duncan is also going on another tour where he does live shows, and VIP tickets for these shows are already sold out, with also general admission tickets being slowly sold out. Now, after accounting for all the fixed and variable costs that go into, all the expenses with doing a live show, a significant amount of the money that people generate off of live shows is from merchandise. If you see a sea of kids wearing Virginity Rocks, you're gonna feel like a dumbass if you're in there with your Just Do It t-shirt. You're gonna just want to shell out the $30 and wear the Virginity Rocks t-shirt. Not to mention that people want to partake in that crowd. They want to be a part of that community. Then I talk about the merits of building a community around your brand in the Nelk video I did. I'll leave the link to it up here somewhere. In addition to that, Danny also has 2 merch stores. And by the looks of the debut of his second store, the foot traffic was insane. Now guys, these are all rough estimates that I'm basing off of information that is publicly available.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel with post notifications on, and don't forget to like the video for the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment down below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.